The mystery of the time-hopping criminal. What's this? A time machine in Portsmouth. Who's that? Oh no! Professor Moriarty, the enemy of Sherlock Holmes.
Hello, welcome to the Moriarty Sherlock Holmes comic making workshop. My name is Russell Mark Olson, and I am a cartoonist. I did the illustrations for the Conan Doyle collection's adaptation of A Study in Scarlet. Mr. Doyle's Class presents A Study in Scarlet. And with me is one of my good friends and also the writer of that book, and he is...
Hi, I'm Matt Hardy. As Russell says, I'm the writer of the adaptation of A Study in Scarlet. I'm also the publisher of Mad Robot Comics, and I've written a number of other comic book titles. Hello, Russell.
Hi, Matt. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good.
Brilliant. Okay, so are you ready to talk to kids today about how to make their own comic characters?
Yeah, I'm excited to do so.
Brilliant, excellent. So I thought, because we did the adaptation of Study in Scarlet for this comic book workshop, it would be fun to do a workshop making a comic book about a detective, right?
So the idea is that you junior sleuths will create your own detective, your own crime, and then help us solve that crime by drawing your own comic book strip with the help of Russell and myself.
So, Matt, tell me, what does a detective need in order to be a detective? Is it just having a magnifying lens and a deer stalker, a Sherlock Holmes cap?
I think those things are very useful, but I think a detective needs first and foremost to be smart, to be clever, and he's going to need skills. He's going to need skills. He's going to need abilities. He's going to need gadgets. All the different things that your detective are going to need, you're going to have to design and make for your comic strip.
Right. So now, I like detective fiction. I read a lot of detective fiction, and I like to read it across the board. What I mean by that is I like reading detective novels like Sherlock Holmes, or that feature Miss Marple or Poirot, but I also like reading more contemporary novels, so maybe detectives that could believably be working today. So now, obviously, time then doesn't make the detective. So our detectives don't necessarily have to be in the same time period as Sherlock Holmes, and they don't have to be sort of today. They could really be any time, right?
They can be of any time. They can be any. They can be male or female, any color. They can be anyone you like. They can be you, if you want to.
All right. So can I make a detective tiger?
You can make a detective tiger. You can make a detective elephant. Anything you like. Old, young, rich, poor. Your detective can be from any background, and you can dress them any way you want. Importantly, you should have a very clever name for them.
Ooh, good point. Good point. Sherlock Holmes, Hercule Poirot. You know, these are great names.
All the famous detectives have a
Lord Peter Wimsey. Tips off the tongue. Trips off the tongue, I should say.
Absolutely.
Yeah. All right. So should we design a character together as an example for other people to start their own?
That's a really fun idea. Yeah, let's do that.
Let's do it. Matt, first things first, we're going to need a detective to solve this crime, right?
We will. So let's make our own, shall we?
Sounds good to me.
So first of all, we need a character.
Right.
What do you think, Russell? Do we think?
Well, my favorite animal is a dog.
Go with the dog.
All right. So let's do a sheepdog. Sheepdog Holmes. How about that?
Perfect name.
All right, so we'll draw a sheepdog here. And they've got little pointy ears. I'll maybe give this sheepdog one floppy ear. And they're quite furry. Um, and let's see here. Often we've got little patches, little
So
shiny noses.
we're going to need an outfit for our sheepdog, then an outfit for our detective.
Okay, well, sheepdogs are often working out in nature.
They're often outside, aren't they?
Yeah, so it rains a lot, doesn't it?
That's it, something to protect him from the weather. So, yeah, a mac, a long coat of some sort.
Yeah, it sounds good. Let's give our sheepdog here a raincoat.
So when you're designing your detective, think about what they would do every day. Think about whereabouts they come from and use that to decide what they would wear. You want something that's striking, that will stand out. Your detective needs to stand out in the crowd.
So,
needs to capture people's attention. So yeah, that raincoat looks amazing, Russell.
so we'll give him a yellow rain mac. Because that's quite iconic, right? Yellow is quite a bright, bold color.
Really stand out.
You'd see that from a mile away.
When your detective walks through the crowd is going to part for the dog in the yellow raincoat.
All right, so we talked about gadgets earlier. What kind of gadget could Sheepdog Holmes have?
So a gadget or a gimmick is what you need for your detective. So a shepherd's crook.
Sounds good.
Those who don't know, that's the long hooked staff. I believe I'm correct. The long hooked staff.
Yeah.
It's hold. They use them to grab the sheep.
Well, you know what? Now that I've just drawn it, we could put a magnifying lens in here.
Oh, that's nice. I was thinking question mark, but the magnifying lens works much better.
Oh, that's good too. Oh, so many good ideas. Once you start working on something, just the ideas really start flowing.
As soon as you make a start, everything else just falls into place.
Let's see. Let's just add a bit of brown to the staff. And then a little bit of blue onto the magnifying lens so we know it's shiny. Okay.
So what kind of personality has he got? He's smiling, so he looks quite a happy character.
Yeah, I think he probably is.
Some detectives can be quite sad, can't they? Quite sullen. He looks quite chirpy. Maybe he's a very friendly.
I think so. So maybe he needs a sidekick, which is a little more sullen, a little less happy.
So we have a sad sheep.
Yeah, a sad sheep. That makes sense.
Sad sheep to go with the shepherd.
So we'll do little sad sheep here.
So also think about where your detective would work. Sherlock Holmes had his house in Baker Street. Our sheepdog Holmes, where would he work from? A barn, do we think? A farmhouse? I think maybe an old farmhouse.
Sounds good to me. So let's do an old farmhouse here in the corner.
It's a very cool sheep.
Very sullen, very sad.
Very sad sheep.
Let's use this one here. Make it an old Tudor style house with all those lovely old beams.
I like the yellow raincoat also says that I'm here, I'm in business.
Yes, yeah.
Look at me. Because some detectives will sit back and examine the clues. Some will get right in there, and I like the yellow and also the fact as well that he's a dog. For me, says that he's determined.
Mm-hmm.
He's persistent. He's going to get to the bottom of the crime. He's going to chew whoever has committed the crime.
Yeah, and dogs are usually pretty happy-go-lucky.
They are.
And happy to help. So maybe this Sheepdog Holmes here,
Sheepdog.
is happy to pitch in and save the day. Maybe he's had to find some missing sheep in the past, and he's used those skills now to solve other crimes around the farm.
I like that. I like that as well. His patch, the area he works in is the farm, and he solves farm type crimes.
Okay, so there we go. So we've got our character now. We've got Sheepdog Holmes. And we're ready to start solving some crimes. So
farmyard detective, Sheepdog Holmes, farmyard detective. I like
farmyard detective.
That works well.
So Matt, correct me if I'm wrong, but that was pretty easy to do.
Yeah, once you've got a starting point, it's quite easy to do. Shouldn't overthink things. Have fun with it. You can do anything you like, any detective you like, to solve the crime.
That sounds really good. So if you are going to make your own detective, well, you are going to make your own detective, you can make them anyone or anything you want. The sky's the limit. No idea is a bad idea. But as we've done here, develop. One idea can follow a second idea, can follow a third idea, a fourth idea follows on after that. Just build on it. Say yes to things. Say, okay, so it's a sheepdog and a yellow rain mac with a shepherd's crook, and there's a magnifying lens in it. If you've got ideas popping, just go with it and see what happens. As you know, and figure out what it is about your detective that makes them unique, makes them different, makes them special, and gives them the skills they're going to need to solve crimes.